Welcome back to another daily drop on TarHeelIllustrated.com. I'm THI staff writer Bryant Balcom. He's THI publisher Andrew Jones. And today's topic surrounds North Carolina basketball, specifically freshman guard Ian Jackson, who has quite honestly been on fire for the Tar Heels over the last 4 games, AJ.
Been on fire, been on a tear, and we are seeing the whole bag just dump right in front of us. And lots of things to parse through, Bryant. There's some good and there's some bad, but there's mostly a whole lot of good, and everything's an upside. Every aspect of this game has an upside and a significant upside. And it's been interesting to see it play out, because when he had the big game against UCLA, I wasn't sure if that was just a one-off or if more of that would come. Mm-hmm. And talking to him afterward, he was extremely confident. And he's like, I'm just doing what I'm doing. He has a big game against Campbell. It was Campbell, but he still was doing the same kind of things. And I asked him if his production in the previous 2 games, which he combined for 50 points against UCLA and Campbell, if that was a product of him gaining confidence or getting more minutes. And he said basically getting more minutes. So the confidence is there at an exceptionally high level. Then he goes for whatever it was he went for against Louisville the other night, goes for 27. We're recording this Saturday after the game at Notre Dame. I'm still on the court here at Purcell Pavilion. So today he had 27, and he became the first Carolina freshman ever to score 23 or more points in consecutive games, and 4 consecutive games. And that's pretty amazing. And he's done it showing some stuff that can be aggravating to a basketball purist or probably a head coach, but also you need to see those things. He needs to have those sequences to sort of fine-tune his game, to smooth out some of the rougher edges. And also, some of them really aren't rough edges, Bryant. They're just his game. Mm-hmm. I asked Hubert after the game Saturday about the wiring of Ian as a player. He's just wired that there are going to be some unconventional things. There's going to be 1-on-2 moves. There's going to be fadeaway jumpers when they're not maybe necessary. There's going to be driving into 1, 2, and 3 guys. That's going to happen sometimes, but you have to take that to get the whole of the game. And the whole of the game is a dude who put them in position to beat Louisville the other night, and they didn't do it. Teammates didn't step up. He didn't score the last 5 minutes. It was a team-wide thing, but he put them in position to do that. In this game today, he put them in position again to get the win. They got the win, but he did it, I think, today more fluidly and with more connection to his teammates. And I think that was an enormous part of how this game played out against Notre Dame. But overall, and this is what we're really going to hit on, it's the range of his game. Mm-hmm. And it's the fact that Hubert Davis says, look, in order for him to get into his bag, in order for him to get into his charge, you've got to allow all that stuff to happen. So my take from that, when Hubert responded to my question, was Ian's got the full green light to pretty much do whatever he wants. And I actually think that that's the right way to play moving forward. I wasn't sure a week ago. And I said it. I'm like, I wasn't really sure where this Ian Jackson stuff was going. But after today, I think that's the right way for this team to go. Ian's the first freshman really since Tyler Hansbrough that's going to have to lead them to wherever they go. And that's with an RJ out there. And there's a Joe Forte element. When he was a freshman, the Forte rebounded more. Joe Forte got more steals. Joe Forte had a lot more assists. He was a more well-rounded player, but Ian might be a more dynamic player and might be the kind of guy that there might be a night where they go to Winston-Salem and they need him to go for 38, and he will. I think he's got that stuff in his game, and Hubert is allowing it to blossom now. And I think for all the criticism people have given Hubert Davis, and a lot of it is justified, right now the way he's handling Ian Jackson I think is good. Mm-hmm. And if this team ends up winning a lot of games and Ian's just the guy moving forward, Hubert's allowing him to be the guy. It's aided by the fact that Seth Trumble's been out for 3 games. But let's remember, he went for 24 against UCLA. Seth played that game. Seth started that game.
23 against Alabama.
20, and he had 20, yeah. So, but this stretch here, and Alabama, it's a stage. He played well on that stage. So I think we're seeing the emergence of the go-to guy for this team. And I think RJ Davis is okay with it. And the reason I bring that up is because some people might, well, number 2 all-time leading scorer, how's he going to be okay with it? He's got to be, because that's what this team needs to be. Just like Tyler Hansbrough kind of stepped aside in 2009 about this time of year and let Ty Lawson just kind of move forward as the guy. And Ty was ACC Player of the Year. They ran away with the national title. So, and Tyler was still great. He was still who he was. But sometimes you have to recognize how the team gets better when other guys are doing their thing. And I think the emergence of Ian Jackson, Hubert allowing his game to grow, in this game particular Saturday at Notre Dame, the team playing off of Ian a little bit better, being more comfortable with him on the floor doing his thing, is an enormously important thing, only if they can continue doing that. If it's a one-off, it's just a one-off. Ian's going to score a lot of points. They're not going to win a ton of games, and they'll end up being what they are. But if this team ends up having a good season, Bryant, and Ian's the guy moving forward, and the guys play with him instead of watching him play, then this could be a pretty seminal moment and a very important little week that this team has had, because I don't think they played off him at Louisville. I think his points were important, but they played off him Saturday here at Purcell Pavilion. So pretty important moment. And I'm going to throw some numbers out in a minute, but I want you to take the reins here.
And I think it's important to note that, they did lose at Louisville, but against Alabama when he scored 23 points, but he's not getting his, as they say, and getting his points, and UNC playing badly. It seems like those two things are really kind of go hand in hand. When he's playing his basketball in his game, you even saw it today, a lot of guys stepped up for UNC, and I think because of the way they are comfortable playing around him now and learning to play around him, with him being that guy, I've seen him elevate his teammates when they're playing through him. Like you mentioned at Louisville, at times it didn't feel like they did, but today they did play through him, and he was the guy they needed him to be, and it also helped his teammates around him play better. And I think it's important to note that him getting his points, scoring 27, if you look at it individually, that's good for him, but the way he played and has played has made his teammates a lot better when they're comfortable playing around him.
Yeah, when he was bunching up points against UCLA, when he was doing it at Louisville the other night, it was sort of the Ian Jackson show. Tonight, he's putting up those points, but he's not scoring 10 straight. He's getting a bucket, and then Jay Witt with a 3. He's getting a bucket, and Jay Wash with a cut, a dime from Elliott, and he dunks it. He's getting a bucket, and RJ has a runner off the glass. He's getting a bucket, and Drake Powell hits a 3. So it's more a part of who they were today. They were doing this. This is running Monday. Obviously, we're recording this on Saturday. So I think that's huge. Let me throw some numbers out at you, too. And this is another very important aspect to what Ian's done. A lot of times I've covered freshmen that score a ton of points in a struggling team, and they don't have great specs. Points are great, but the percentages and some of the efficiency is not. And I know that Ian's still turning the ball over a lot, but you're going to have to live with that. Just like with the power hitter and strikeouts, you're going to have to live with that sometimes. But in these 4 games, he's 11 for 18, 7 for 15, 9 for 16, 8 for 30. I actually thought he had taken more shots, and I had only 18 shots. I thought he had taken the 20s because he had a couple. I guess maybe it was, I might remember which game it was. I thought he was shooting more. And that's actually what I'm talking about here. That 18 shots is more than he had in any of these last 4 games, but it felt like less because it didn't feel like he was forcing stuff.
It felt like it came naturally through.
It came more naturally, exactly. So he's 35 for 62 from the floor in these 4 games, 56.5% from the floor for a guy who's a three-level scorer. That's pretty damn good. He's 10 for 27 from 3. He's hit 2, 2, 3, and 3. He's hit at least two threes in each game. So he has to be honored out there. 10 for 27, 37%. If he's 37% the rest of the year, Hubert Davis will stuff it in his back pocket and smile. And he's 20 for 32 from the line. He's got to improve his free throw shooting, but it's 32 free throws. He's averaging 8 free throws a game in this 4-game stretch. So this is a guy who is playing first-team All-ACC basketball right now. And now that he's done it against the UCLA, did it at Louisville, did it here at Notre Dame, all away from home, 2 true road games. I don't think there's any reason to believe that he's not going to keep this up. And the thing is, if opposing teams put so much emphasis on stopping him, he's got the ability to shake people like nobody else on this team. Seth somewhat, but Ian, there's that. I don't want to be trite and say inner city, but there's an inner city aspect to just dogging his way to the rim that some of the other guys don't have, and we see that from him.
And finishing at the rim too, not just getting
finishing, getting stuff up, and getting to the line. So he's going to still do that, but it's going to open up stuff for other guys. And RJ had that nice little stretch there, and he said, "Look, Ian, being another scorer, was opening stuff up for him." So I think this is a huge aspect of what this team is moving forward. I think that as long as the guys play off him, as long as they're okay with the freshman doing what he's doing, and as long as Ian continues to play kind of like he did Saturday, where he's not trying to make it the Ian Jackson show, he's not trying to be more than what he is with the team and actually hurt the team when you get past the point of what do they call it when a guy what's that saying? I'm probably messing something up here. That saying where you past the point where his production becomes a negative. A guy shoots too much, tries to score too much, it takes them out. As long as he doesn't do that, this is maybe a very important moment for Carolina. We'll know Tuesday when they play SMU, which is a much better team than Notre Dame and better than Louisville. So we'll know maybe then. We'll know here in the next few weeks, but I think it's something to keep an eye on. We had to isolate him on Daily Drop because he's done this 23 or more points, 4 straight games. The only
it's not a one-off like you mentioned.
So what now?
And it's not a one-off like you mentioned earlier. He's
Well, he's done this. No one else has ever done it. Yep. When I asked him about that, he had a big old smile. He knows the names. He knows what he's done, and he's that guy, man. So he's going to be that guy the rest of the way if this team is going to reach their full potential. And lots of other stuff has to happen too. It's not just Ian, obviously, but
I think he's one part of that puzzle that they need.
You know, they need a bucket. The guy can get him a bucket. Those massive runs. It was a 12-0 run by Notre Dame today, but it happened fast. A couple threes, a couple bad closeouts, and boom, it's a 12-0 run. But they responded. Mm-hmm. But they've been in some bad, on the wrong side of some runs this year where they can't get buckets. I've questioned the half-court offense a lot, but with Ian, I've noticed that Hubert's running more sets. He's trying to get him more looks. So maybe we're seeing a lot of growth through Ian with everybody right now. We'll see.
Yep, and you mentioned SMU, the next test on Tuesday night at 9:00. Give Ian a chance to have 5 straight games with 20-plus points and see if he can continue this trend of not only playing good basketball himself, but kind of elevating his teammates as well. But until then, I'm Brian Balcom. He's THI publisher Andrew Jones, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.